Hi, welcome back to the channel. For this video I'm going to start out by finishing up the chassis, which is just getting the tires and wheels taken care of. I already painted the wheels. I did them in a gray color just to mimic what they look like in the Initial D movies. And then I'm going to show you a little trick to spin the centerline molds off of tires. So what I use is this drill adapter. So it's a hex shank. In this case it's a 3/8 drive socket drive. You can get the kit I have. You can actually get these in 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch drive. This is a 3/8 drive socket in 5/8. It's actually from Cobalt, which are pretty good tools. I like them a lot. Just slip the tire over that. Now it's set on there. Just put it in your drill. And then just spin the drill. I'm going to come over that with some this is 600/500 grit sanding sponge. Just go fast and just grind off that center line and put some wear into the tread. Okay, that's all there is to that. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not, but that is nice and smooth. So we're done with that. Let me get it put on the wheel and we'll get the rest of the chassis taken care of here. So the tires are on, chassis is all detailed out, it's all weathered, looking good. So I think that's perfect. So that's done for now. Of course, you know, we got to get it put in, get the exhaust tip on and stuff for later, but that'll be later. And I'm going to call this little project finished up, and let's get started on the interior. Okay, so we're going to start on the interior here. It's actually pretty simple. All you have is a dash, which is 3 pieces. So it's the dash, the steering column, and the steering wheel, which are already glued together and cleaned up. And then you have the seat, which was 2 pieces, which I glued together and cleaned up. You have the tub with the shifter knob and the emergency brake handle, which I glued in. Then your 2 door panels, and then your racing seat, and that's all there is in the interior. There's some decals, which we'll do later. And then on the instructions, it shows the center of the seat to be gray, and I looked at the RX7s online, and I never did see that as an option for those. So I'm just going to paint mine black, which unfortunately means everything's going to be black, but that does give us a chance to do a little bit of detail work that will kind of break that up. And what we're going to do is we're going to do flocking on the carpeting, and it comes up the side here. And then we're going to do that in the black, which is all just going to be matte black, or low gloss black. And then I saw a picture of this same RX7, and I don't know if it was later in the series, but it had a red racing seat in it, which I really like the look of, so I'm just going to do that on this one. And then the steering wheel is going to be black with an aluminum center in it, because I've seen those in all sorts of different color schemes and different wrap patterns, and so you kind of do whatever you want with that. But the door panels are just going to be, they're just going to be the black, and then so's the dash, and then I'll detail out some of this here. There's a little bit of detail work that can be done to that, it looks like. And then, like I said, the gauges are all decals. So we'll get this all painted up, and then when we're done with that, I'll show you how to do flocking, and then I'll show you how I like to do decals, and that should be that. We'll get this all finished up in this video, and then we should be ready to do all the final assembly stuff in the next one, and we'll be on it. Okay, so I got the interior painted. I decided to mimic more of the plastic interior look. So what I did was I mixed it out at 2 parts of the BL2, the low gloss black, to 1 part gloss black, and it really gave it the perfect sheen. So I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but you can mix out those all those enamel colors, all those blacks, except for the BL1, the base coat, but all the other ones you can mix together and turn them into whatever you want. So I let all that dry, and then I come back in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of dry brushing on the dash just to kind of pull out some of these details I want to highlight. So again, you don't really need anything on your brush. Okay. There we go. Yep, where the key goes right there. Okay. And I kind of highlighted that stuff a little bit. No, that's not exactly the way to do that, but it works. And it looks good. So then I also painted the steering wheel. Just the center in that. And that's just regular flat black. That was just the BL2, the low gloss black. I just sprayed that. And then we also got to come in here and we got to get the pedals done. Okay. So there's that. I think that's all ready to glue. So I will clean up the brushes and we will get into doing the flocking for the center console. Okay, so the interior set overnight and everything's all dry. Because it's going to be black with black seats and black carpeting and black everything, I don't want to just do that with paintwork, so I'm going to show you how to do flocking, which is good in any color, but looks really good with the black. Well, so let's get started on that. So when I do it, I like to start by putting a sheet of paper down on below what I'm going to be working on. I'll show you why here in a little bit. So our first step is to get the glue ready. I just use this Elmer's glue, just white glue. Works really well. Just a little daub. You're not going to need a lot. Then some water. I like using my little paint droppers. Now you don't want the glue to be too thin, but you don't want it to be real thick either. So that's about perfect. Okay. So you're just going to come in and you're just going to brush this on. Everywhere you want the carpeting to be. So in this case, I want it on the floor, the side, across the top here. I'm not going to do this because that's where the rest of the dash sits. Okay. I'll come in and put on a bit more. What you really want is you really want to put on enough that it leaves it with a nice uniform coating. Kind of want it to be a little on the milky white side still. And this is all water soluble, so you can just wipe it off however you need to. It's part of the genius of using this system. Okay, that's that. Now we're just going to take our flocking, we're going to open it up. This is what I like to use. Just dump the whole thing in there. Okay. Now you can't see it, but we're just going to shake that. Kind of get everything so it's like that. Then let it sit for a second. Come in and press it in with your finger. Okay, and then just take it, knock it out. Give it a little bit of a blow off and see where it looks like flocking. Now, I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not. Yeah, it is. There's a little spot right here where it didn't quite catch. There's not quite enough glue. I have to confess it's been a while since I've done flocking on an interior. But just let that dry a little bit, and then you can come in if you want to, and you can go back over that with some of the glue. Just take a pinch, add it to it, turn it over, knock it off. Done and done. You can't even tell. So that looks really good. I am really happy with that. I am going to let that dry, and we'll come back and I'll show you how I do the decals on the dash. Okay, but first we will clean this up. Just take your paper, make a little crease in the middle of it right there. Hold up your bag. Goes right back in. Hardly waste any of it. Take the rest of it. Dump it all back onto there. That's it. You're done. We'll come back, like I said, and we'll get this decals done here next. Let me clean all the rest of this up too. Okay, so we're going to do the dash decals, which the only decal actually in the car is the gauges. And you get two different versions. You get a white one, and then you get the black one. And I'm thinking they show them as being the black face with red light behind them, which is super cool. But I want more of a contrast, so I'm going to go with the number 4. I'm going to do the white one here. So that's why we left off the steering wheel. And it's a one-piece decal, so we're just going to cut it out here. Okay, set that aside. Get this stuff all moved out of the way. And then I always like to throw them in face down. I don't know if the camera's picked, I don't think it is. But you can always watch the water soak into the decal. If you're doing bigger ones, you'll always be able to see them cut through. Always be able to see it soak through. And then we're going to let that sit for a second. And then I like these angled tip tweezers, but you can use any tweezers as long as they have a really, really fine tip on them. And keep your knife ready. And then I'm going to go over it with this Walther Solva set. Love this stuff. The only complaint I have is it seems like it evaporates out of the bottle pretty easily. But we're going to let that sit, and then we're gonna get it pulled out and see where we're at. Some of these, they come off super fast. This one's not going to. So I'm not going to bore you with a long video. I'm going to cut this for a second and come back to it when it's sliding around. Okay, I let that sit in there for another 30 or so seconds. Okay, this is what I like to do. Oh, I can see that's moving around already. I always like to get on them and then just gently try to slide them with my finger first. So this is how I do it. I'll just slide them out to the edge and pick them up with the decal and hold them so they drape face down. Throw the backing paper away and then try to situate the part so it'll drop right on. And sometimes they fight you. Just add a little drop of water there just to kind of keep it floating. Okay, and that's in. Okay, now you just come in with the Q-tip Okay, that looks really good. Move that water so that's not reflected back into the camera anymore. And just take the Solvaset. And if the Solvaset does anything weird to the decals, like moves them or anything that you don't like, hurry and get them moved into where you want them to be. Because believe me, you got about a 3 or 4 second window before that stuff starts to eat through that paper and it starts to set them. Okay, then just leave that for a little bit, and believe me, when it is dry, it will conform to anything. So we'll sit on that till it dries. Okay, so all the parts are together, everything's dry, the decals are looking really good on the dash. Whole dash panel's looking okay. So let's get this stuff glued together. I'm going to start with the seats like I like to do. And one note on that. When I was looking up the interiors, I saw a version of this car with the red racing seat, and I really like that. So I don't know if that's 100% correct for this car or not. I don't think it is. I think they did that later in the series. But I really liked it, so I'm going to do it on mine. Now with the flocking, you can either scrape it off to get down to where you need it to be, which is never a bad idea. And it just comes right off. It's just the white glue. You'll see it kind of chip off, and so easy enough. So we got that all set up. Then I just put a couple of drops of glue on top of my paintbrush cleaner, just a little bit there. And with super glue, you don't need to glob it on. You don't. I mean, I'm probably using a little too much here as it is. Feel it clip on there. Just hold it for a second. That is glued in there. Now I'm going to do the steering wheel. Now when I do stuff like this, I like to put it on the part that has the hole in it. Put it in there, kind of wrap it around a little bit. Then when you pop it onto the pen, it'll sit right in there, and then all the glue's already kind of on that outside edge, and that looks good. And then same thing when you do the door panels here. They have tabs right here, right there, and right there. So just run some glue along the whole bottom edge of that, and then along those tabs a little bit, and that'll be perfect for those. Okay. Then just hold it for a few seconds. I like to count to 10 kind of slowly. You can test a little bit, make sure it's good. That's good. dash will go in, and that thing looks amazing. Oops. I don't know why I still have that on that stick. I do know that this needs to be really scraped off because that seat doesn't, I mean, it's like so pushed up against the edges of that thing. Okay. Here, let me do something different real quick here. Okay, there we go. Come on. Sorry, I know you can't see that. I'm just getting that pushed on there. Okay. And then I like to come in and put the dash in before I do the final door panel. Because I've had issues with models before where everything goes fine until you get to the door panel or you get to the dash, and then nothing wants to fit after that. So as long as you have area to get to it and you can make it work, that's what I always try to do. Okay, that's in, that's up there. Same reason I like to put the seats in first. I've had a couple of models where the door panel, the armrest actually come out so far that it interfered with how the seats would sit inside the car. And again, this is just exactly like how we did the other one. Okay. Okay. Clip that in just like that. Make sure that lines up on both sides. Okay, now the glue's all pressed together. Nothing moves when I let it go. Everything seems to be in there real nice. That's it. That's the interior on that thing. Easy enough, huh? So next video, we are going to finish up the exterior, do all the glass, get the interior in, and we're basically going to finish up the car. All I have is some just like mirror faces, the headlights. We got to put on the license plates, all the glass, all the clear parts, and that'll be it. So yeah, so that'll be my next video. If you like what I'm doing so far, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions about anything I use, if you have any tips, if you think maybe you have a better way of doing it, let me know. Just put it down in the comment section. I'm always open to hear what everybody has to say about models. I know the way I do it's not the way everybody does, so just let me know. And thanks for watching.